on video games can somewhat be of a double-edged sword. On one hand, you might find a flawed yet fun show to watch once in a while, and then we have some that aren't.
Worm's good. Tell Yoshi bedtime story now. Tell how Luigi finds Yoshi and Yoshi rescue Princess.
The point is that over the course of the video games company's lifespan, they are bound to make a show based on their properties with rather mixed results. The company I'm really surprised that hasn't made a lot of shit with their IPs though is PlayStation. Next to Nintendo, I feel like PlayStation has the most creative lineup of characters I've seen, and recently they have been in the works of making some shows with said IPs, with the talks of a God of War show being rumored, a Last of Us TV show being in the works set to release in 2023, a leaked pilot for a Ratchet & Clank cartoon, the enigma is the Sly Cooper movie / cartoon, not really sure, and the unfortunate cancellation of a Crash Bandicoot cartoon, because Activision sure does love to hate fun. Now, all of this just really had me interested to return to this world, and in my search to find a show to talk about, I found the 2001 anime based on the rhythm game Parappa the Rapper.
You gotta do what?
I gotta believe!
Parappa the Rapper is about a dog named Parappa, oh shit, trying to impress his crush Sonny Funny after some dickhead named Joe Chin intimidated him, probably looking like the furry Crimson Chin on God. He got praised for its interesting concept, charming characters and visuals, the message of believing in yourself, and of course, its memorable music. So thanks to its success, it managed to get a spin-off game called On Jammer Lammy, which also gained its old cult following over the last couple of years, and a sequel game called Parappa the Rapper 2. Unfortunately, other than having ports of the first and second game being released, the Parappa the Rapper series hasn't had a new game in over 2.5 decades, which is a shame because it would be interesting to see what a Parappa the Rapper 3 could look like. Recently, Parappa has had a pretty big resurgence in the internet, and for as much as I would like to think it's because people want a new game, it's definitely because of the spike of popularity of a certain indie game that's gone popular ever since late 2020. Friday Night Funkin'. Now, what about the anime? The Parappa the Rapper anime was created for Fuji TV. It features the titular character and his friends in different adventures. It ran for 30 episodes from April 14, 2001 until a year later on January 11, 2002 when it ended. The development of the show started around the development of Parappa the Rapper 2, but the creator of the original game, Rodney, Greenblat, did not really have that much involvement in the show. He designed all the designs for the characters, but didn't have anything to say regarding the creative liberties with the show because of Sony. I'll be linking an interview with Rodney in the description down below regarding the making of the games and the anime, but to summarize, Rodney had a completely different idea in mind for the show. He wanted the series to be aimed at a teenage audience, for example, but Sony's mindset at the time was to only sell merchandise, so they aimed at a younger audience. Not only that, but to him the series was a complete disaster. He didn't really understand the writing because it was all in Japanese, and back then he only knew English. The time slot of the show wasn't very good, and even then the kids didn't seem to enjoy the show as well, which ended with him feeling pretty burnt out. Oh yeah, did I forget to mention that this show was all aired in Japan? It's a shame too, because I feel like the series would have done somewhat well as aired in a Western audience too. Thankfully, the entire series is free on YouTube to watch. Shout out to DefendPTR for bringing the series back to YouTube, the absolute legend. Plus also adding English subtitles so I can understand? God damn. What? You really think I'm gonna learn Japanese to watch a single show?
ようこそ皆さん。ようこそ。フィルシー・フランクショーへ。
いやー、やっぱりね、俺はとんかつが大好きなんだ。なんか言うよね、暴言。お前涙しちゃいすぎる、お前酒飲むな。
Bro, what the fuck? So yeah, from this description, it seems like this show wasn't gonna end well, huh? The creator of the games hates the show, and you really don't hear people talking about it as much. But hey, I haven't given up on humanity just yet. Keyword is just yet. So who knows, it might turn out to be good. So with that being said, join me as I figure out if the Parappa the Rapper anime turns out to be a hidden gem or a forgotten blunder. At the start of the video, the show takes a more comedic / episodic approach, and although not really the target demographic of this show, I still found the writing to be pretty decent. The characters in this show still manage to be as charming as their original selves. Parappa is still the fun and energetic go-getter, and Sunny is still the nice girl that Parappa likes. There are some characters that they change a little bit though. especially towards characters like Katie and PJ Barry. And in the case of the latter, I think that was a pretty good change. No hate towards Katie, but I just found her to be pretty damn annoying at times. And PJ is just really funny, how much he doesn't really give a fuck about the stuff happening around him. However, because I'm guessing they really wanted to give more characters and expand the world, they decided to add new characters specifically towards this show. This includes Matt Mayer, the energetic and sharp dog who likes sports, Paula Fox, a rival to both Sunny and Katie, Gaster, the mischievous antagonist of the show, and overall, I really like the new characters, although I'm not really the biggest fan of Paula and Gaster. I don't know, they both seem pretty damn annoying instead of actually being mischievous, and unlike characters like Matt who just feel like they've been part of the series all along, Gaster and Paula just feel like they've kind of been shoehorned in. Now, speaking of the comedy, I can definitely say it's sort of hit or miss. At times, the comedy can be pretty funny, mainly with the visual comedy, whether it's the aforementioned PJ, or the amount of cartoon violence present, although that might just be a me thing. Like, come on dude, I grew up with Tom and Jerry. Literally seeing the characters flying across the screen after a funny explosion is enough to make me start laughing. But most of the jokes are not really that funny. The concept of these episodes are also pretty forgettable too, with most of them starting to boil down to Parappa and his friends go do something, then shenanigans happens. Rinse and repeat for about 29 more episodes. Of course, not every episode was meant to be this grand scale type of thing, but even some episodes with interesting concepts just end up being pretty lackluster. However, I will mention some of my favorite episodes from the series though. That being episode 25, Did You Say You Can't Sleep, episode 28, I Won't Let You Have Her Heart, and episode 11, That Was Really Heavy. All of these just demonstrate the fun writing and just the overall heart of the show. But overall, the writing is alright, not really that much to say.
We interrupt this program to bring you...
Man, I fucking love the animation in this show. It manages to have the iconic look of the Parappa the Rapper games and translate it well to a 2D show. The games themselves have a more paper-like aesthetic to its visuals. Anime doesn't really follow that style, except maybe for like a small segment in the intro, but I still really like the style that this anime goes for. I really dig the lighting of the show. Everything looks really colorful, and the animation is still pretty fluid when it comes to both the movement of the characters, and especially when it comes to the cartoon violence. Backgrounds also look really nice, and overall, the show does have a distinct style that definitely gives it its own identity. However, while stuff like this is nice and dandy, at the end of the day, the overall treatment that they gave the original creator of the games and the staff towards the show is something that we really shouldn't pass through. Sony focused more on advertising toys and merchandise than actually listening to a main idea and sticking to it.
Did it burn you out?
Yeah, I didn't even know where I fit in, who I was really working for. I was doing so much work on the show, especially because they kept adding on new characters every week. I had to create a whole new Parappa world and check things. I would get rushes for each episode and make corrections, and they wouldn't even do anything about it. Characters kept on changing and messing up. In the game, Parappa would drive a car so you could figure he's 16 or 17, but in the show he's sitting in the 3rd grade and his antics are based on what 8 and 9-year-olds are doing. It just got all nutty, and then I think it all fell apart. It wasn't my burnout that was the problem. All those companies just scattered and did their own things. Japan is so different. When the project is over, it's over. That's all. They go on to something completely different.
Treatment to character designers, animators, staff, writers, and everyone working on the show is still going on, and why the hashtag New Deal for Animation is still happening. In the description down below, I'll be linking a form that you should sign so that the people that worked on animated content that you've watched and will watch in the future get the respect and payment they deserve, and for stuff like this to never happen again. Overall, I won't lie when I say I was definitely expecting more from the show when I first heard about it. A series like Parappa the Rapper does have a few cool concepts and ideas that you can work with, and I feel like this show just barely scratches the surface with this concept, and if they had another opportunity, I say give this a shot again, and bring back the original creator of the games, and we could have something that could be pretty special, but what we are left with is a harmless, yet pretty forgettable cartoon. While I may remember it for its animation, I'd say only check this show out if you're really interested in it. Otherwise, you're not really missing out on anything special. Anyway, this has been Manuel D, and can PlayStation please start acknowledging their old IPs again? Why, yes, PlayStation, I actually am interested to see a new game from Ape Escape, Twisted Metal, Sly Cooper. Sly Cooper. For fuck's sake, PlayStation, bring back Sly Cooper, it's been more than a fucking decade, come on!